Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh.
So, Steve, you saw a lizard.
I saw a lizard, guys.
Hang on. We need to start properly. This isn't any.
That's a great start.
This
that's a
isn't
good
just
start.
any episode, right?
Oh, we're
sorry.
building this up,
We're
even though
building
we've
this
got
up.
nothing.
We're building this up, and then it's going to be I saw a lizard,
It'll be a
and then
fucking
that's it.
shouter.
Listen, we never said it was all laugh.
No, of course. By episode 150, you'd hope that it would be, in terms of numbers, 80% laugh.
I don't think it's a cumulative thing. If anything, in fact, we're getting any laugh still at this point. It's
Aye,
pretty good
it's
going.
impressive.
The well's pretty dry at this point.
I've exhausted all of my stuff. Okay,
Where did you see a lizard?
outside my block of flats.
Right. And
So,
is that
Pretty much.
it?
Yeah. I thought that
Local
was
lizard.
That is, I mean, it's
That's
strange
crazy.
to
Unusual.
see. It's unusual to
Unusual.
see a lizard. I
How
couldn't
big?
say.
No, yes,
I knew
size.
you were going to say yay and use your hands. This is
Yeah.
an audio medium. We've done 150 episodes.
Well, what we had to describe to the Scottish RSPCA or whatever it's called, I said,
Hang on.
I done that.
Hang on.
What's come under the boil?
So you've saw a lizard and you've reported it to the RSPCA?
Catherine
Grass.
reported it. Catherine done it. I was making dinner. I was cooking.
Is
a
there anything
lovely
happens to your
bit of
house that
fish.
Catherine doesn't suggest you phone somebody?
She's a shite bag. She's a
She must
shite
just like the company. Have a few around.
It's somebody to talk to for a body change.
Some stimulating conversation in this house.
I'm cooking a lovely bit of fish. She comes
No
running
breadcrumbs.
in. No
So-
breadcrumbs.
What do you say to the RSPCA when you phone them up?
I didn't phone them. She did.
Well,
I think
But
we
where's
start with us again.
Hi. Us again. I was cooking a lovely bit of fish. She comes running.
didn't
Phrase
burn it this
again.
time.
3 times a lovely bit of fish has come up so far.
Stu, I know you're choking to ask. A wee bit
Yeah.
of paprika, a wee
Yeah.
bit of lemon zest,
Salt and
pepper. Bob's your auntie.
What kind of fish?
Bassa.
Of course, of course. Carry on with the
Lovely
lizard.
bit of white fish.
I'd
Rub
prefer
it
to know
all
what
in.
kind of lizard, not what kind of fish.
It's a Scottish lizard, apparently. This is what I found out. You get Scottish lizards.
Do you?
I said to him, she had him on the loudspeakers. He said, "What size is it?" I've done this, and I went,
With a
about
lizard for a
2
second.
inches.
You made the same mistake
2
as you
inches?
made in the podcast 2 minutes ago by showing your hand when a guy was on the phone.
Well, I was trying to figure it out, so I done that for my own sake. And I looked at it and I thought,
But you can bear on that too.
I
I
must
feel like
be
I'm
about.
telling on myself here, but that looks like 4 inches to me.
That's a
Aye,
9
compare it
incher
to
at
your own
least.
wit, exactly.
It's a wee 8-incher probably.
So, but what do
Only
you
8 inches.
what do you say though? Because like, do you just phone them up and go, "I seen a lizard"? What's
Oh,
the
exactly.
big deal with that?
She was like,
Yeah, it wasn't hurting anyone, was it?
no, because it was cute as well. Because she was like, there's a lizard outside. I came and looked at it. It was just sitting there. It wasn't moving or anything. So we didn't know if it was a toy or not. And then,
That was your first thought.
and then I thought,
We
"Alright."
get these calls all the time. It's just a toy. It's just a toy.
I thought it looked quite cute. I was like, I just leave it be. It's a lizard. And then she was like, oh, what if it's someone's pet and it's escaped?
It
And
is, isn't it?
well, yeah.
Is it? Yeah, lizard.
Would it not have something around its neck, like a wee tag?
A
Doesn't it
lizard
have
with a dog
Doesn't have
collar
a dog
on.
collar on.
No, but
fuck's
see if
sake.
you had a pet lizard, I bet you that it's like
Mm.
standard practice. So you need to have some sort of wee,
Really?
like no how
like a
like,
chip.
like dogs have got chips in them and stuff.
I think lizards are too small to be chipping them.
That's just why I'm saying it's got a hanging in its neck.
No, you can't fucking. What, you walking it? You're
The
gonna
image
walk
of
it?
a lizard with a dog collar is ridiculous.
I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a dog collar. I'm just saying they would put something on it to
Give it a tattoo.
signify that it's like.
That would be that would be like a ring. You'd need like a tiny wee thing like that. A wee ring.
Sovereign ring.
I think you probably do get lizards that have got rings on.
I don't know. Don't be ridiculous. So he told us to Google it. He said, what kind of lizard is it? I said, I don't know. It has a black stripe down the back.
So the RSPCA can't even be fuck Googling it on their end.
But he asked us to describe it, and then he said, Google this and see if it looks like this. And it was like a Scottish lizard or
It
something.
didn't say
Loch
Scottish.
Ness monster.
Something like that, a Scottish garden lizard or something like that.
Alright.
So we googled that and we're like, that looks quite similar.
We do
Sounds
have a
about
Scottish garden, so that is where it would reside.
Well, and it's just a block of flats. It wasn't in a garden or anything. He was like, "Is there a pond nearby?" And then he said, "Can you put a box over it till we get there?" Because in case it is like because these things are, I think he said they're warm blooded and it could be dangerous for it. So
Right,
put a box over it.
right.
We'll get there. We'll have a look at it. I go outside with a box. It's gone. So I said,
You've
to
been outfoxed by the lizard.
What kind of boxes you use?
just a big clear box that you keep shoes in,
Oh, right, okay.
stuff
A
like that.
plastic in a box.
Plastic box.
But, right, so who was the danger to? To the lizard itself, not to use?
No, not to us. No,
Right.
it's not going to
So
eat us.
you were phoning on
On behalf of the
Of
lizard.
the half the
yeah,
lizard.
You were like the
exactly.
lizard's agent.
We weren't like, can you kill this lizard for us?
because I would just assume there's probably maybe just some lizards kicking about.
Aye, I thought it was fine. Catherine thought we need to see if this wee guy's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Fair play, very caring, very kind.
And
phoned
during
him
this
up.
back and forth, you could have been out there putting it under a bloody plastic box.
Well, I didn't think we would need to. And then I went out, it was gone. We said that and he said, well, see you later.
Aye.
No coming out to see an empty box
Coming
There
out
you
to
go.
see it, to look at nothing.
to look at nothing, so.
I hope it turns up again, this lizard. I want it to
I
be a
know.
rolling feature.
I miss it. It was like the time I had ants.
Of
Remember
course,
that?
yeah. How was your ant infestation?
Gone.
Good.
Destroyed them.
Yeah. Didn't phone the RSPCA that night.
No.
Warfare.
'Cause they're pests,
Mm.
I would say. Also, I don't know if something that small can't have thoughts and feelings, can it?
Of course it can.
I don't know if it's got thoughts.
What,
Well,
an
it's got-
ant? You
well,
don't
it's-
think an ant's got thoughts?
Well, it's got thoughts, but like I don't think it's sentient. Well, no, that's wrong. I don't think it's like. Doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, these things can fucking build
I know.
ant colonies and they've got a queen and all this stuff.
Aye, but fucking so have we, and we're all morons, don't we? Or we've got a
We
king.
don't have a queen.
We've got a king. We've got a monarch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know what I mean? With that.
I mean, kind of. I feel like you're trying to rope me in here now.
So you're basically
in
saying
your
there's a
team.
threshold of like if you're small enough, your thoughts and feelings don't matter. Because if so, a lot of people would say maybe 5'5"
I
and a
know.
half is
You're only
No.
just getting on roller coasters, lad. Be careful.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. 'Cause I can think about, I'm going to phone the RSPCA here. Do you know what I mean?
What's the smallest
Oh, you
animal
can't
you'd
actually.
phone
It
the
was
RSPCA
Catherine that
for?
done it.
Bad example. I don't know, like, well, dolphins are intelligent.
So if you had a dolphin in your close, you'd phone.
Dogs are emotionally intelligent. Cats.
Why are we doing a league table now, though?
Well, I'm trying to go small
Ants
and
are getting
small and
relegated in
small.
the relegation zone here.
Does a lizard have?
I
Thoughts?
outsmarted you.
Yeah, I thought I'm getting out this fucking box. I know a trap when I see one.
Steve coming in the fucking fan. I've seen that before. Film me once.
Well, I don't know. Like, so do you think an ant has a?
So is this
Would you
kind
not
of?
kill an ant?
Well, is this really the question? It's like if you kill a fly or whatever, that's different for killing a dog or a person, obviously. So where do you draw the line? Is this kind of what we're
Yeah.
saying here? It's hard. I mean, it's a good question. I would say arguably none of it is all right, but we do it anyway. Like, cause
What's the biggest thing you'd kill?
because if you think about it though, if you're eating meat and stuff like that, really, you're killing quite big animals. You know, cows.
You're
and,
not physically doing it yourself.
you're not doing it, but effectively, yeah,
Mm,
by by
eating it.
consumption. So,
Yeah, that's your own
but
survival.
you also have, because none of you are vegans here or whatever. So we, in some moral stance, think that's fine. I don't
Yeah.
think it's fine. I just don't really care. I'm like, I'm just going to eat it anyway. Like, because I read, there's an, like, when I done philosophy at uni, there was like an article I read. I think it was by this guy called Peter Singer. That might be wrong. But he had an article about why eating meat was like akin to like slavery or something like that. And I read it and I was like, fuck, man, he's right. And then I went, well.
Off to be
Nah,
delicious, though.
I don't think that's the case.
Well, I think it was just, it was like, the argument was like, you're saying that these, like, the argument for slavery was like, these people don't matter. Like, they're different to us. And he was saying it's like speciesist to say that about like, animals and stuff. So we can kill these cows because they're like a different species.
But there's a food chain.
That's
In
true.
the animal kingdom, there's a food
But
chain.
aren't we out of that? Famously.
Oh no, because we still need to survive, don't we?
Mhm.
We still need to eat that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah, but you could eat rice.
yeah, but then you have all sorts of problems, don't you? If you just because vegans have to take supplements and stuff to live. So if you're just eating plants, then you're going to be fucked, aren't you? So you do need.
Not necessarily.
Try
I mean,
telling that to another person before you kill them. Sorry, I just don't want to take supplements. Fuck
But
yeah.
you don't eat people, do you?
Well, no, but I'm saying that like you would say, well, why is it worse to kill a person and eat them than an animal?
Because we can have thoughts and feelings. We can do things.
This is going back to what you're saying, which is that they do have thoughts and feelings.
They've got.
You never seen those gorillas that look at their own reflection and all this kind of stuff?
Aye, but they're
They can
close
use
to us.
iPhones and shit. Gorillas.
Yeah. There's one that's got Instagram.
Aye, but they're kind of closer to us, aren't they? In the
Right.
grand scheme of things. But like,
I think you wouldn't kill a gorilla because it would kill you.
aye, well, aye.
It's not a fair fight.
But if it's
Yeah.
between me and the gorilla, and I've got a knife, and he's going to kill me, I'm going to take down that motherfucker.
Mm.
I don't care.
With a knife.
Yeah.
I mean, I was set a picture in the UFC. Like 5 rounds with a gorilla. he's on the stool at fucking during the break, like getting water poured over him and all that. But yeah, so ultimately, like you're saying, yeah, it's all right to kill an ant or whatever. Would you kill a lizard?
No,
Would you have killed a
I
lizard?
wouldn't kill a lizard.
Well, I suppose the RSPCA, I wonder what their stance is on it. Did they? You should have, when you were on the phone, you should ask them what they think about killing ants.
Yeah, you should waste their time even more.
Well,
And if they have
exactly, because
thoughts
you
and
can't
feelings?
box up ants, can you? And there's so much of them, so the only way to get rid of them is to destroy
I
them.
was again picturing the UFC.
Boxing,
They're
yeah.
boxing up an ant. Fuck yeah.
I could batter an ant. Easy.
Easy peasy, Sam.
Easy.
I
But
don't
they're meant to be able to carry like 6 times their body weight or something. So if they were our size, they'd be ripped.
Ants.
Yeah.
That is weird. I wonder what the dynamics behind that are, that they can carry their own weight for so long. Or like carry more than their weight.
I know, but when you think about it, it's like
Their
That-
weight's like
it's a
minuscule,
leaf.
innit?
Yeah. They can
Uh-huh.
carry a leaf. You're like,
I'm
well,
not saying it's not impressive, but
well, it's not.
What if it was like 100? What was that old Lemmy thing? It was like 100
With
tons of
feathers.
feathers or
100
100.
tons of steel.
Aye. What's heavier?
But steel weighs more than feathers.
Anyway,
Aye.
I'm glad you survived that ordeal anyway.
Well, aye. Yeah, we got past it. There's a lizard out there running free. Good on him.
He's sitting in
it's
your...
not exactly a wild cat, is it? It's not going to make the news. The
No.
4-inch lizard spotted in.
And finally, a lizard was seen. Unfortunately, the RSPCA were not able to attend as
Outsmarted the person who caught it.
the resident did not get his plastic box out in time.
That's the word outsmarted. Keeps cropping up. I did not like.
You're the one
didn't
throwing
out-
shade at them saying they can't have thoughts or feelings, though, to be fair.
I didn't want to catch it in the first place. I go inside, he says go and catch it. I go outside, he's gone. That's not outsmarted. That's just him living his life.
You got Houdini'd.
I've got to draw a line under this, lads. We're all having a laugh. But I was not outsmarted by a lizard.
So I draw the line.
That's where I draw a line on this.
I forget that
charade.
you've got thoughts and feelings. Sorry.
Exactly. This affects my health mentally.
Men's mental health, of course, which we do cover extensively.
Well,
on this
100,
podcast
150 episodes
about men's mental
specifically about men's mental health. Now, I think
health.
We
Amazing.
should just make this a clip.
a clip show.
episode, clip show.
We have said that. I think we say that every milestone episode and every Christmas.
Make a
like-
clip of all the times Steve said this should be a
It
clip
should be a
show.
clip.
Yeah.
It should be a clip show. It should be a clip show.
I think we
I
should.
tell you what, right? I know we do obviously joke a lot about the men's mental health thing, right? But guys, I'm struggling. No, I did bump into somebody the other day who is a listener, right? And I won't go into specifics because I don't want them to like feel like exposed, right? But he did tell me he'd recently been through a hard time, and he said what was getting him through it was listening to the podcast.
That's lovely.
That is lovely.
And I was
Same.
like, cool. Are you a Patreon? You can sign up for as little as £3 a month, guys. You know, but no, I didn't ask that obviously, and I was just like, oh, that's very nice.
That's nice. Yeah.
That is lovely.
So it was
It's
very
always
nice to
hear
hear,
those things.
and yeah, so it's yeah, it's great that we hope flip out, and we hope you out there, whoever you are listening,
Mhm.
is helps. Even if it's just getting through your dishes, you know, you're doing your day, you're doing your chores, you know, you're spotting a lizard outside your place. Hopefully, listening to us
Yeah.
helps a wee bit with that, because I certainly know myself. You know, I need podcasts to get me through the day. You know, just to stop the thoughts coming in,
Are you
Yeah.
alright?
and also just
It's okay to not be okay.
It
For
is.
real.
I don't actually think it is.
It's shite to not be okay.
It's shite not to. It's that, I mean, by definition, it is
Yeah.
not okay to be not okay. I think we want to re-stigmatise mental health. Is what I'm saying. No, but yeah, no, it's nice to hear that from folk, and obviously, we also want people who've no get shite lives to enjoy the podcast. No, we're kidding. But, no, we all want you to have shite lives. No, but it's nice to hear that. Come thick or thin, hell or high water. Is high water meant to be good?
So, to me, that sounds like, like a flood or something, right? That's bad.
Aye.
But then a high water mark is a good
So
thing.
is hell or high water two
Good or
examples
bad?
Two
of bad
shiters
things?
between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be the exact opposite. I've no idea.
Because I suppose you could say I actually this is what I mean then.
I've been outsmarted, Steve.
I want you
You've
to
been
enjoy.
outfoxed by an
By the
idiom.
Bible or whatever the fuck, wherever that comes from.
I want people to enjoy this, not come hell or high water, because they're two bad things. I want people to enjoy this podcast.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine, heaven or hell. Heaven or hell.
Maybe it's just the two different the spectrum. Hell is the bottom and high water's the top.
But
Got to think heaven's the top if hell exists, though.
yeah,
Well,
no,
yeah.
but you're talking about geographically. 'Cause
Yeah.
But high water is not.
It's not the highest point,
It's not the highest thing.
so it should be hell or Mount Everest.
Aye. Kilimanjaro. That would be a strange. Because that's the high water mark as well as another thing. I
Hmm
don't know, I've got a laptop for
Well,
that.
that's a good thing. That means it's like the pinnacle of. That was the high water mark.
That was the
of
high water
podcast
mark.
when we
So
had
maybe
that
high-
riveting discussion.
Maybe hell or high water
What do
does
you
mean.
think the high water mark of this podcast is?
Well,
It's yet to come.
sound off in the
You think?
comments. But
Yeah,
let's
they can.
let's hope so. Let's hope our best days are ahead.
I don't think they are.
I
I think we got to that benchmark long ago.
Interesting.
I think it's when you got kissed in the arse.
Mm.
I think that was the peak.
That was a
It'd
good
be
episode.
Hard to uncover something like that again.
I would
That
say
was
that
about
was
episode 10 or something.
No,
wasn't
that
it?
was early. That was early. I actually believe it was episode 26. I think, but
There
but
you go.
I would say no. I mean, because we were barely getting started.
Should
We had
have
so
stopped at
many.
that point. We should have stopped there.
Well, this is a milestone episode. You can always
Could be
go
the
off the
last
train
one.
here.
Could be the last one.
Could be the last episode.
That's why it should be a clip show. We go back to that moment. We go back to the moment where, you said
Other
something.
stuff happened.
I'm not quite sure what episode that was.
That would need to be in the future.
It would be good to actually a good clip would be like just loads of Stu's zingers.
Yeah,
Mm.
that would be a long clip.
They're not made for the clip generation.
The problem is though,
Need
often like
context.
some of Stu's best lines have like been like summing up like an entire episode or calling back to something, so it was difficult to get.
Can't distill
in
that
the
in 10
clips.
seconds for the TikTok kiddies, can you?
Do you know actually one that was, and this was yours, Steve, that is one of my favourites, and it was we put it in. It was when we had Jamie Hutchinson on,
Like, this
and
is
he
your
was-
life. This.
and he was talking about like doing that play and fancying the lassie and telling her he's like Christmas isn't he about presents and gifts and all that. But he spoke earlier on in the episode about having pattocks.
Yeah.
And you said it as about pattocks, and like it was so gutted because when I made the clip for it, I was so gutted I couldn't put that in because it was such a funny bit, but it was obviously out of
callback.
context. So I was like, but
Hard to use a callback and a
Context
clip
is
in it.
the scourge of the clip.
Yeah.
it is
clip
very much so.
generation.
You
And
really,
then you can't even. It's shite when you include a wee bit of the context from before and then the callbacks there because it's not enough time has passed. to make
That's
it
true.
funny, so.
That's true. Because it's I've even had that with stand up
Rubbish.
before. Like sometimes if you've got a call back at the end of an hour thing, and then you need to do like a condensed 5 minutes,
Mhm.
and then
Doesn't work.
suddenly it's too close
Yeah.
to the callback. People can see it coming.
I know.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? 'Cause I think part of the good thing is when people forget about something that's been said,
Yeah.
and a wee bit of time passes, other stuff's happening, and then it gets called back. That's when it's at its most
Peak.
poignant, I would say. But no,
What
it's
were
been
you
a-
looking up there? And then
I was
stopped?
looking up high water mark. So let me see. The level reached by the sea at high tide, or by right. So we know this. That's not what I'm.
What we need is the
Hella
come
high
hella
high
high water.
water. I'd love to come up with a phrase that everyone uses.
Well, it was a 2016 western / thriller.
Sounds good.
Sure, it was a thing before that.
What does the expression "hell or high water" mean? That's a fucking video.
I think it means like by the end of the world. So it's like either hell takes over or we drown. It's like come hella, whatever it takes.
Come hell or high water. Yeah. No matter what.
This
Yes.
is Google's now very unhelpful. I would say AI
They have a
overviews.
little bit of wrong information at the
Yes.
top.
The idiom "hell or high water" means that something will be done no matter the difficulty or obstacle, and its origin is thought to stem from a combination of the destructive forces of hellfire and a flooding high water, essentially signifying that someone will do something even if faced with extreme challenges. The first recorded use of this phrase appeared in an American newspaper in the late 19th century.
There you go.
There you go.
I thought that would have been from like, the Odyssey.
No,
Some sort of
it was
Greek.
the Burlington Weekly Hawkeye in 1882.
Wow.
That's my
They don't
Odyssey.
make them like that anymore, do
No, they certainly do not. I miss like local papers being more of a thing. I know you get your Glasgow Lives and all this stuff now, but
Not the same as
I
the
miss,
Clydebank
like-
Post, does it?
I used to be a paper boy,
Same.
and I think that's when I got a lot of my education and sort of general knowledge and just stuff going on in the news and all that. 'Cause I would just read the papers every day as I was going in, and but I loved the Daily Record. Just like because you just get and I actually think it's probably worth reading still now because I still think it's a good insight into what you would imagine they would have to have their finger on the pulse of like what
The
the general
nation.
public knows about fucking things. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I used to be a paperboy. Paperboy, by the way, it's a shame that it's such a dying game. I've probably said this in the pod before, but I mean, it's actually a crazy thing if you think about it, isn't it? Well, first of all, unpaid labour for people not
Yeah.
of age.
You're relying on tips to make money.
No, you would get a cut. You'd work at a cut with a guy in the shop, so you would get a cut of the papers.
I never got. I done mine with the Clydebank Post, and it was directly. You had to pick up from the
Yeah.
Clydebank Post office, and it would just be the price that the papers would be,
Scam.
and you
That's
just
scam.
made your money off your tips.
Well, I done every day. I was Monday to Saturday though. I only got a Sunday off, and I would do the Clydebank Post as well. Heavier bag on a Wednesday. I'll tell you that much. But I think you did get a cut, but then yeah, you were relying on tips, obviously for the most part, to make your money. But it's crazy that because I used to always think like, God, if people weren't just being lazy, I'd be a job here.
Mm-hmm.
Delivering it directly to their door. Little did we know that very soon people would have the news in their bloody pockets. Even lazier than that.
Did you ever get like your folks to drive you around?
Yeah, and in fact,
Mm.
weirdly, right, the guy who had sold me the paper round. So remember, did you just have in school in high school, like when you're in first year, you'd get a buddy.
Oh, I'd forgotten
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
I had this guy. He was, I don't know if he was minor, but he was
It's
like
like
my
some kind
mate's.
of bullying mentorship scheme.
Yeah, basically. So he was in 6th year, but he had the paper round still, even though he had a car by this point. So he took me around in
quite
his
handy.
car, and then he was like, and then so he had
Can it be
this-
true? But someone I know, there was a rumor that he still had a paper round when he was like 22 or something like that.
Well, there was a guy who was also the other paper boy in the shop, and he was like a guy who I went to school with dad, and he was going around doing the papers then.
Well,
He was a dad that was a paper boy.
Mm-hmm.
He was a paper man.
Paper man, and he would even go into the shop early to help them like set up in the morning and stuff. I don't think he was getting paid for that.
Oh God,
He was angling for a job in the shop, and they're like, "Fucking you stick to the papers."
that's sad.
that's
Isn't
sad.
It was sad.
Yeah.
That
But
is sad.
you've got to do what you've got to do to get by, I guess.
Yeah,
Well, if he's still a listener and he's doing his paper round, I hope he's having a nice
I
day.
don't think he's still alive.
No, alright.
But I don't know. I hope he is, and I hope he's doing all right. But I did just think it was a weird thing that like people, they're like, because then you get like an extra whatever 50p or a pound tip at the end of the week. I'm like, use our mugs, You could be getting this yourself and saving all that money instead of it's going to me. But
Yeah.
I guess it's quite good for folk to have a wee paper when they
It
get
was
up
the
in morning.
original Deliveroo rider.
It was really, aye.
Mm.
But I feel bad for kids now. You know, they're all no got a sense of purpose and listen to Andrew Tate and all this kind of stuff. They need to go there and
Get a
fucking
paper round,
get a
that.
paper round. That should be
I
like
think the death of the paper round has led to the rise in misogyny.
absolutely. I think there's a 1-to-1 correlation between because first of all, if
All
they
that
had the
fresh
paper
air thinking.
and they'd be reading the fucking news,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be getting other they wouldn't be getting other information for these fucking nutters on the internet.
Just getting it from Rupert Murdoch. That's a lot better.
He doesn't own the Daily Record. There's only one
People
person.
like that.
There's only one person on my run who got the Sun actually, and I judged them for it. And there was also one person who had the broadsheet.
Also-
There's one Herald and one Sun.
You done different papers, son?
Why?
Right.
I done all sorts. Son.
I had one.
He's very proud of his
one
paper.
paper.
I can tell you.
I tell you what, I don't know. Like,
How much would you have made a week?
I mean, maybe I'm honestly guessing, but I would say maybe 25 quid, 30 quid max.
That's good.
Actually, because at
With
one point
inflation.
I bought because there was another boy who had the paper round and he sold it to me. He sold his part of his to me, so I like expanded. Because I was getting territory. It's like the Wire or something.
How much did they sell it for?
It was probably like, I mean, maybe like 50, 100 quid or something like that.
What?
Because it's, well, because, you know, you're thinking if you're making, that's probably an extra £5 a week or something for me, so it's building up.
I know, but that's like just
20
selling.
weeks work to cover your ass.
I wonder if
Yeah.
anyone's ever been done for tax for fucking paper rounds. I don't even know if I should put this out. But it's illegal to actually, I don't even know how it was legal that you could be a paper boy. It's like a fucking chimney sweep.
It's
Or
quite
something.
Dickensian, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do a self-assessment?
No, I didn't know what I was. But I did have a BMX. I used to have my BMX for the first few years. I think I would drive that around, and then I got a bit bored. It was a bit of a pain in the arse lugging the fucking bike, so I ended up just walking it because it wasn't that big a walk really. So, but no, I do. That was a good steading, but I don't know how I managed to like fucking get up at that time and do a whole shift, and then go into school and fucking have to do that, and then your homework at night. It's fucking.
Fuck that, man.
Yeah.
It was a long day.
Early,
More work than I
early
was-
grind set.
More work than I'm doing now. Tell you that much.
I never done it in the morning. I done it at night, and people hated that.
Because it's not a morning, it's not an evening paper. The Clydebank Post.
Nah.
It's a week,
Can't wait
a
to find out
weekly.
yesterday's news
Well,
at 10 p.m.
Well, that's the
tonight.
thing. It's a weekly paper, so I thought it was all right to deliver it at night because
Aye.
you've got a whole week
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
to read it. But there was a guy that kept complaining, and he never tipped me, so I didn't give a fuck. So I was just basically doing him for free. I didn't get a cut of it. And he kept saying, "Oh, why? I want this in the morning so I can read it with my breakfast."
I need to know what's going on.
Well,
I need to know about the crime
Having your
file.
breakfast tomorrow, you can't.
Exactly. It's a weekly paper, you wank. So
I would
do
say
it at like 8 at night.
Then
which
there's
is
no way that
far
you
too
only
late.
getting your mom to drive you around.
Nah, I only had about fucking 12 doors or something. I was
It's
shouting.
on your street.
No, but like half of them weren't in my street, so it'd be like 4 in my street and then 4 in a street across, and then 1 absolute trek away.
No.
It wasn't worthwhile.
Do you know what I seen the other day, by the way? I don't think I've ever even seen this in Scotland. I think I've only ever seen it in films and telly shows on it.
It was a lizard, no?
It was not a lizard. A lemonade stand.
Oh, I've
Wow.
never seen that.
We
Yeah, that's from
kids-
American movies.
That
We
is-
kids with a lemonade stand, and there was like they would have like sweeties and stuff that you'd get in the van, like you know, what the things called refreshers and all these
Mhm.
like these kind of like chewy type of things.
Mm.
And it was after the Celtic game, and they obviously must live next like in the flats that they were standing next to, and so they thought we'll set up a wee lemonade stand and all that. And I was like, see if I had money, I didn't have any cash on me, I'd have probably bought something.
Not have a card machine, that.
Should,
I suspect they do. I've always thought it'd be funny to do a sketch about like, like the wee guys that would be like the Celtic games and they'd be like, "Now what's your more, mate?" Well, sorry, not getting any cash. Then they'd have like a card reader. I'd be like, I thought it'd be like a funny online excuse sketch or something about 10 years ago. But by a lemonade stand, and I was like, oh bloody hell, and then a bob or two.
So what was it, outside the ground?
It was near the ground, so it's like kind of these flats near the ground. So it was on my walk back.
Fair play. to them.
That's quite sweet, really.
That's
Entrepreneurial.
It's smart. Well, it's like, you know, you've got these burger vans and stuff outside the ground. Why not set up your own lemonade stand?
aye. That's a bit of giving away health, like a healthy alternative, you know.
I don't know
Which
if they'll-
one is the healthy alternative?
Well, you get a fresh lemonade instead of getting a Coke or a beer or something.
I didn't see many lemons.
Was it just
Yeah, I
out
wasn't
of a
picturing
bottle?
lemons.
I was literally just like a
poured it
bottle
up,
of lemonade.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought it was.
That
like,
would be crazy though.
I thought it was like the American ones you were talking about, where you squeeze the lemon.
How do you even make that so it's like
There's sugar in that as well.
lemonade?
Yeah.
Aye,
It
this
feels like a
this
fresh.
is what Beyonce doesn't tell you, right? When life gives you lemons, you also need a wee bit of sugar to make the lemonade.
Otherwise, it's shite.
Aye. Like you're just drinking raw lemon juice.
That'd be funny. It just got to like a wee lemonade stand and be like, ah! Just throw it in her face. But I did not do that, obviously.
Hello, Stuart here with a quick message to say that because my Glasgow tour date sold out, we are putting on 2 extra shows on Sunday the 27th of April. I'm recording a special as well. This is my tour show Horse that I did at the Fringe last year. Please come on down if you live anywhere near Blackfriars or in Scotland in general. Marc's producing it. We're doing it through the podcast. So friends of the show production. It's going to be good. So yeah, 6 and 8 o'clock, Sunday the 27th of April. I'd love to see some pod fans there. It's a good show. See you there.
I feel like a lot of that, even the stuff that is more, like as I'm saying, like paper rounds and things like that, I don't know, I get nostalgic these days for these sort of things because I just feel like everything's become so more homogenized with phones and technology and all that, you know? I know this is pure old guy chat again, but
Yeah.
Well,
it's, I do
Can't wait
miss
to
it.
hear the fucking 300th episode of this.
Back in before we had the holograms.
we were talking about in the car when we are old. Do you think like stand-ups? I don't know how to sort of. You might be better at getting into this.
Articulating this.
Well, no, we were discussing sort of audiences
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, how different generations sort of find different things funny.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve had done a gig where it was kind of an older audience. And we were just saying, like, when we are that age, do you
50,
think
60-year-old.
our tastes will have developed at all, or will we just be laughing at things because they remind us of being in our 20s or whatever? Or, like, you know, what we were into around this age.
Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it? Do you know what I wonder sometimes? Whether, like, see when you have an older crowd, it's not even necessarily what you're talking about. There maybe no, it's chiming with is you yourself and seeing a younger person and thinking like, and them looking at you and thinking, this boy's not getting any clue. He doesn't know what life's got to fucking hit you with. No, this kind of, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I
I
wonder.
also think it's like the style of it as well, though, the presentation of like,
Yeah.
it's like stand up is more conversational and hidden now. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
hide your
not
work
just-
in, whereas
it's more
it's like
personal.
Budum tush or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's maybe just an expectations thing. I think there's a lot going on, but yeah, expectations and all that sort of stuff. But I think it depends because, like, in some ways it can be a generational thing, and like, but there's also like there's obviously older people that try and keep up with trends, and you know what I mean, like, and that
Yeah.
are especially that they'll be like comedy savvy people of all sort of generations and ages, and they'll keep up with what's going on at the Fringe and or even online and all this kind of stuff. But obviously, for the most part, they probably will only be like older folk. So that's why you can sort of just prejudge it a wee bit and go, "Ah, I'm not going to have a clue who fucking Elon Musk is or whatever." But like, yeah, you just never know, I suppose. I do wonder though, what we'd be like. I guess we'd probably be the type of people you'd want to try and keep up with what's going on.
Mhm.
I think at a certain point as well, because even like you see in news, like there's all these Gen Z mob and all that. Like you see them, and you kind of some days you see them and you just go, it's just a bit, I don't know. So something about seeing somebody younger than you is a bit. It's almost like threatening or something in a way, isn't it? Or just like I don't know, makes you feel insecure.
Yeah, but we all felt that the other way around when we were young doing stand up, like in our early 20s or whatever.
Mhm.
We just felt like a child.
Yeah,
Whereas
Yeah.
now, like, we're the same age as the audience,
pretty much. Yeah.
give or take.
Yeah, but there's still, I would say, the audience are still a bit older. Like, I mean, do you even think, so in 20, 30 years' time, do you think our age group will be going at it, or do you think that'll die out? Do you think, like, going to a live event will kind of die out a wee bit more compared to, will we just get our entertainment on our phones?
Well, I sort of think I've thought this for a while now that like I think there'll still be that need to go and see live stuff, but I think even now, the nature of it's maybe changed. So I think what people like about it now, and it's maybe why, like, is reflected in the nature of stand up now. It's often a lot more personal, that kind of thing. I think almost people just want that human connection that they're kind of missing through the phone and stuff. Because obviously you can watch, like, so you just get access to so much stuff. But there is a different thing about being in the room and something being live, and I think people like doing that. Also, people just need something to fucking do. What else you gonna be doing? Sit in your house fucking phoning the RSPCA about lizards.
Pretty much,
Do you know what I mean? But people they just want to go to stuff to fucking for something to do. Do you know what I mean? And
But also, I think people nowadays kind of don't. They want to be in sometimes.
I mean, so yeah, I mean,
Like we were
yeah,
saying
you
that
stay
as
you stay
well,
in the
like-
house all week. By the end of the week, you're like, fucking, let's go. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you
Or-
go out all the time, you're like, let's stay in.
But if people are out of their work,
That's
all
what
week,
happens.
if people are at their work all week and they're just like, oh, I just want to have a night in. Like I've been working all week
Aye.
outside. I just want to stay in.
That's why the weekend is good. 2 nights, Stephen. you stay in on a Friday, you fucking go on a Saturday.
I don't know, because then we were saying say Gen Z, they're a bit more health conscious and don't go to the pub as much. Apparently,
This is what they say. They don't drink as much.
Yeah, but they're not old and jaded yet. They want to hit the pub when they hit 30.
Aye.
do you think?
No, I think so.
Do you think it will switch?
I wonder what it is with the like. Do you think it's? I don't know what it is that would mean they're not drinking as much. What do they say? Let's look this up.
I think it's just, I don't know, like I think maybe social media has something to do with it. They see people looking fit and sexy online, and they want to look like that more than.
Well, there is, more of a gym culture, more of a health conscious culture now, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it stops you going to watch a comedy show.
Google's AI overview says
Was that stupid cunt?
Gen Z drink. They probably use a lot of fucking AI. So Gen Z drink less alcohol for a number of reasons, including health, cost, and social factors. This has led to a growing non-alcoholic beverage industry. Although I would say, it seems to me,
Like they've lived their lives like a candle in the wind.
Yeah.
I would assume that a lot of like the 0% Guinness, the 0% alcohol that is popular now, is being drank by people that are older who
Yeah.
fucked it on the drink
Yeah, totally.
and now don't want to do that anymore.
Mm.
Or they want to go to the pub still with their mates, but they're like, you know what I mean? They get the motor or whatever. I
There's
mean, it's
definitely
good for
people
me.
around my age and a few years older that I'm seeing drinking 0% beers.
Yeah,
It's not
Yeah.
kids.
I wouldn't imagine so, but maybe it is. Maybe they're just a bit more either a bit more wised up and or the rest of it. I just feel, yeah, because maybe all their parents were alkies or whatever, and they thought, fuck, I don't want to be like that. So maybe that's what it is. But the
Yeah.
clean living, it says they embrace.
Cost as well is that they mentioned there. That's quite a big thing. Like, it's expensive nowadays, and people aren't maybe.
Do you know what it might be as well, honestly, right? Because see, since we were at school, there's probably better education in school about alcohol consumption and things like that. In the same way that, like, we went to school and you'd get, like, I think of this a lot sometimes, like, in our history class, I'm learning about fucking MLK and civil rights and GFK and all these kind of things. When my dad was basically born about the time that was fucking happening. So they didn't get that in school.
Mm.
So then obviously you become more aware of like stuff and like, like civil rights stuff and all that stuff. Whereas they probably didn't, because they were like too young when it was happening, they were young, they weren't getting taught it in school, then they grow older and they don't have that context we've got for it. And in the same way, there's probably, as I say, there's probably loads of stuff that we didn't get in school in fucking the 90s and all that. They probably do get now, and that's maybe why. And now we go, why they all this and like that? Why they all talk about mental health? It's because they've been taught about it. And we didn't, so we're fucking ignorant about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I guess that's what it is.
Well, we're not. We're a men's mental health podcast.
Of course,
Yeah,
Most other
absolutely.
people are.
We're
We're the kind of thing they're teaching in the fucking school.
Open the schools, man.
But they say they're more risk averse. I would say it's and they're more cautious about how their peers perceive them. Well, I would say
Well,
that's
that makes sense with social media, doesn't
with
it?
social
Yeah.
media, because I mean, I think in the States you'd get in right when you're like pure 18, 19, 20 and all that, and then like imagine if everybody had smartphones at that point. Like, even the folk had a camera phone by that point or whatever. Wasn't it like the same as it is now, and you could fucking upload it and all the rest of it? And yeah, you would just be so much more cautious because everybody's like fucking trying to not get papped.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? It's like we're all like fucking celebrities trying to fucking no get our name in the fucking bizarre column of the Daily Record that I used to.
Bizarre column.
Bizarre.
That's what it's called.
What was that? What did that have in it?
I was like the showbiz column. I think it was the record one.
What would be an example of something that would be in that?
I'd be like, it was always like Amy Winehouse and fucking all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff,
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
Russell Brand and all that kind of shit. Like just all these celebs falling out of fucking taxis, steaming that kind of,
Camden.
that kind of thing. But
Socialites.
but that's what these kids are trying to avoid now. They're like a celebrity who's like, I better not go and get steaming because fucking, I
Go
don't
on
want to be in the
Snapchat.
papers. They're now like, I don't want to do that because, all my mates will take videos of me and I'll get publicly shamed.
Sounds shite, doesn't it? It's a shame. It's a wee shame.
But we had it a wee bit though in school.
Yeah, like on Bebo and stuff, there'd be pictures of you.
Yeah.
Well, embarrassing
the same,
nightclub
though, is it?
photos.
Mm.
Like, that was kind of like the Facebook
In the
version, wasn't it?
background of a club picture.
But I think because it was such a novelty, it was almost like a badge of honor if you had something like that. If you
I
were
bet
on-
you got done a belter a few times.
Well, aye, you get fucking fall asleep at a party, you get fucking dicks drawn all over you, and
Yeah.
people put it on Bebo, and it's a laugh, but then you go, oh, I'm a legend, ain't I, for falling asleep at a party and getting bobies drawn on my face. Everyone thinks that's funny. But nowadays, maybe they'll be like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Well, I do think that. It was funny you just said about a badge of honour. That's like the pure classic thing they used to say with the Asbos in it. Like, they're treating that badge of honour. Bring back Asbos. They were a good laugh, probably.
Because that's not,
No, I mean, don't bring them back, obviously. But antisocial behaviour order.
that's
but-
not a thing anymore, really.
I don't know. I think
Yeah,
we
I feel
spoke of
like
this
they phased
before.
it out,
I think
didn't
they
they?
phased it out or whatever, but it's just like a mad thing that you can
Mad
just-
era of Britain. Like, it's like hug a
Hug a
hoodie,
hoodie,
happy slapping,
Aye,
all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Asbos.
Yep.
The glory years.
Back when this country meant something.
What were you going to say? You were
Oh,
rudely interrupted.
oh, who cares? I can't mind. Doesn't matter. I did have a belter of an old boy on my show the other night. Though. You'll love this. I did a show in Edinburgh on Sunday night. It was a good show. It was really fun audience, really nice. But they must have come in late or something. So it was like a nice audience down the front, but it wasn't full. And then at the back, there was like an old couple, and there was an old boy, with like, and he's just like arms folded the whole time, bun it on. And I could hear him chatting at one point, so I started speaking to him, and he was trying to be funny, I think, but he basically said he was doing a bit where he was like, "Let me turn my hearing aids back on," as if to say like, "I'm hating this so much, I've turned my hearing aids off."
Oh.
But he was like
right.
trying to be funny, but it was just like really weird and awkward because like the gig was going well. Do you know what I mean? Everyone
Yeah.
else was on the same page,
Yeah.
and even his wife was enjoying it, but he was just like arms folded, like bun it. He looked like the old man from Up, like sat in the back like that, fucking, and try to be like wide about his hearing aids, and it's just like it honestly was like a figment of my imagination. Like,
Was this a heckle that was unprompted?
well,
or-
I spoke to him because I could hear him chatting
Right, okay.
Right.
because he's fucking deaf. He and it was just disruptive.
Yeah.
But then he was like trying to be funny, but it wasn't funny. It was like he just sounded like a fucking miserable old cunt,
Yeah.
and everyone else was having a good time.
Aye.
And it was honestly like, if you had like a manifestation of your imposter syndrome of like, no matter what you're doing in life or where you are or how it's going, there's like an old miserable Scottish cunt just scowling at you. And it was funny on the night and everything, and I'm like, just fucking switch them off then we all win, and then I'm just like slagging him, thinking he can't hear me and everything.
Fuck's sake.
But just like a miserable
I hate
old
that.
bastard,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
I hate that.
And you're so right. That is exactly kind of what you can never quite shake for your head.
I
is
know
it?
it's honest. It was like absurd and surreal.
Yeah.
But I think everyone else kind of enjoyed it because it was like a bit of fun. 'Cause
Aye.
everyone was on the same page, and then 10 rows behind in the shadows, there's this man from like the last century.
Aye. He's-
I hate that as well when I've had that when I'm having a really good gig and then you'll get someone like that who
Mhm.
says who it's a negative heckle and you're like, you're in the minority here.
Yeah.
Everyone else is
Like if I was
enjoying
down on my ass, it probably would have been funny and everything.
it."
Aye.
Yeah.
But like even your wife's like you're the fucking miserable old cunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you not see that you're the outlier? And it's okay that you're not enjoying it. And I say that loads. Like, it's fine.
Just don't disrupt the show.
Yeah.
If other
Obviously,
people
I've not
are-
written the show to be enjoyed by the most miserable old 75-year-old cunt in the world. Otherwise, it'd be quite a bad and unpopular show.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I wonder as well, because like I wonder how they even ended up with it. Did they just sort of wander in?
Yeah, I don't know. We'd be fascinated to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah. I asked at the beginning, but I think they must have come in and I didn't see them. So maybe they did just walk in.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, that's the last night out he'll ever have in his life. You know, like the wife's like, we should get out, we should do something. Because I'm stuck in the house with this prick. And then he just ruins that as well,
That's tough going in it.
Yeah.
I know.
Miserable existence.
Yeah.
But that's the worst thing when people are trying to be like somebody, like you only need to speak to them because they've been disruptive. Or
Yeah, I would have
talking.
happily just let him sit there and hate it all he wants. You know what I mean?
But then when you talk to them and then they try and be funny,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then it's just bewildered, and then just nobody knows what to do. Because what do you do with that? When
I
it's
love just
like,
letting it get awkward as well.
Aye.
Like if they fuck it up, you just let it hang,
Yeah.
and everyone just hates them so much.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. Just give them enough rope to hang themselves with, really. But it's
I thought it was fun. It added to the gig. I thought.
well, I think you always need, especially when you're doing like a tour and that, like you need something every gig for it to be a wee bit different.
Yeah.
That does not say heckle. It doesn't help
No.
it.
No.
But it's like if something just random happens in the room, whether it's like even if it's like a fuck up with the mic or lighting or something.
Yeah.
Obviously, none of these things, including heckling and people like that, you don't want to happen normally. But it's something
Is what it is.
to make it different now.
Yeah.
I meant to say earlier on when you were talking about the Clydebank post, right? Have I ever told you? Because my gran's got a thing called macular degeneration, so she can't really see. So she gets the Clydebank post delivered to her in audio form.
All right.
Oh, you've told me. Oh, you've been doing a bit about this.
I've been talking about it on stage sometimes, but it's called Banky Talk.
Clyde
Just
Banky.
that's what this is. That's just a podcast.
That's what you should have called this podcast. That was one of the working titles. And it's funny because like you never realise how harrowing the stories in your local paper are until you hear someone
What's
read
the
them
voice
out loud. Well, it's a shame because it's like obviously like it seems like a kind of like almost it's like volunteers, I think, and it's like
Right.
hello, my name's Margaret, and I am joined today by David and his dog. Bob or whatever. It's like
Dog's there.
there was a dog there, and I'm like, oh great, there's never going to affect the audience.
disemboweled on the dual
Literally,
carriageway.
that was it. A man has been sent to jail for 7 years for fatally stabbing his partner and her child.
Why do you sound so happy about it, Margaret?
I know. There's a new play park opening in Damio. It's crazy, man. But like, yeah, like some of this shit, you're like, fuck me, man. And it's like, like when they're stumbling over the words as well, then you get to like, it just becomes more and more harrowing
That's funny.
as
man.
it's read on.
Do they
But
do the crossword?
I've never listened to it that far in, but there's a wee jaunty tune that plays at the start, and then it just goes. But it's quite nice. I've actually thought of actually volunteering to do it before.
Oh, that's
You
yeah,
should.
you
and
should.
reading it out.
Should, eh?
But I can't be asked. But maybe I'll at some
Just
point.
one time.
I know
one
my
week,
gran would
that's
be
right.
bussing.
Yeah.
And we have special guests with us today. He's promoting his tour. Imagine that was it. Promoter. Just get
every story you link back to good stuff.
yeah, just have a whole audience of fucking miserable old 75-year-olds in the back. Going, it's not the fucking heroes. I can't fucking see, son. You know.
Raging because you're doing the paper at night for them.
Yeah, that would be a good full circle moment to go from a Paperboy to reading out the stories.
There you go.
Take fucking ages, though, probably.
I don't think that's a.
That's why it's only
I
Margaret
don't
and the
think
dog
you've
that's doing it. I
it.
think.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that'd be a big success story. I used to deliver this paper. Now I'm reading it out.
You may think I'm nothing now, but one day I'm gonna read this thing.
It would be quite fun though. It would be quite fun to like just slide in the odd like fake story and they'd see if they noticed.
Nobody
you know,
would
like,
notice.
No.
Nah, nobody would.
See, when I was when I done a placement Evening Times years ago when I was in uni, and they used to go out and get us to do the vox pops and interview people on the street. It was usually about like just whatever story. There'd be like a lot of surveys would come out or just random stories. And I remember one time there's a story about it was something like it'd been unearthed that like Winston Churchill had like reported that he'd seen like a UFO or something like that, right? It was something like that. But I wrote the article, right, and I was quite kind of like open to the idea, like maybe they exist and all that. So like I wrote this kind of like piece and try to keep it balanced, right, rather than just being like, oh, they're all fucking maniacs, right? Apparently, some guy wrote in to the Evening Times and said it was a very balanced
that's
article. So I
nice.
was like,
There you
I'm
go.
happy with
There you
that.
go.
Some fucking conspiracy nut, right?
It was written in shit.
Aye. But I had to get into the Vox Pops, and I was on Sucky Hall Street next to the fucking Donald Gear statue, as always, right? It was hard to do that there, by the way, because a lot of people were rushing to get the train.
Mhm.
So it was often hard to stop people who weren't in a rush. And and then I seen a lassie I worked with at the time, and I asked her, and I was like, can you give us quote, right? And it's like, because you need to take people's photo, and like, would you mind doing this? And she's like, no bother, took her photo. And I was like, right, what do you want to say? And she's like, I'll just say whatever you want. And so like everybody,
Dangerous thing to say to
everybody had particularly because it was that story, because everybody had stopped that day. It was like, nah, I don't believe in UFOs, a lot of shit, right?
Bad news for you. You really believe in this stuff.
It's like it was like I'm convinced I saw a UFO on my way home from work last year. No one else believes me, but I definitely think the truth is out there. And it's like we have a photo on it.
That's
So
great.
obviously the next day, like it get published in the paper, and we're in work, and everybody had seen it and shared on that stuff. It was dead funny. But I remember like being in the office in the Evening Times and like typing that up and pure howling to myself. And like one of the journalists, like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, oh, nothing. Like, just like, I just thought this is so great. Like, that was a good laugh.
It's funny.
It was funny.
You've had a peek behind the curtain of people, reading a lot of the trash that they write in newspapers and that. Like, who makes this shit up? And they're literally just laughing to themselves, making up
It was me.
quotes.
Yeah, I was proving Noam Chomsky correct. It's all the media's a bunch of lies. It's not quite a return to our traditional, for real heads who'll know the philosophical
Philosophical.
questions. It's not quite that, but I did get asked this question the other day, and I thought this is ripe for the pod, right? It's a
Uh-oh.
classic would you rather, right?
Okay.
It's not in too blue, don't worry. Stephen Buchanan.
Not one of these.
No, keep
Would
that
you
for
rather
the-
have sausage for fingers or ham for ears or something like that?
It's funny you say that. No, it's
Something
not. But it's not a million miles away.
Great.
Would you rather, right, that the entirety of music only consisted of the back catalogue of Pitbull,
Yes.
or, or every song in the world ever was sung by Pitbull?
So all the songs that exist, but they're all done by Pitbull.
They're all Pitbull songs, or the only songs that exist are Pitbull songs.
But they can be covered by any artist.
Paul McCartney could cover it, Charlie XCX, whatever. But they're the only songs that exist in the world.
And can you like change the arrangement of it? Can you slow ones down, or can you like?
Yeah, you can do. Well, as I say, you
Your
can
own-
do covers of it, but it's all covers of an original,
So there's only like, I don't know, 50 songs or something.
something like that. Right?
Trying to
Probably.
think.
Let's
what
say
my-
it's some sort of Pitbull Nazi regime. It's like they're the only acceptable.
Listen, with where the
ones.
world's at the minute, you can never rule that out.
Yeah, but
Probably. Well,
What about musical history? Would it all, like, when Dylan went electric, would it be, still with a Pitbull song? Is the history the same?
so if it's
Rev it up like a Tonka truck.
That's a good question. When did it start? I would say. I said just named it was doing anything.
Elvis was nicking those off the Black Pitbull singers.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
like to hear Alex Turner in his sort of lounge singer phase singing.
Mr. Worldwide.
You can believe that.
Take a picture of me with a cold jack.
I don't need to go to the moon now because I'm Mr. Worldwide.
I'd enjoy that. I would go
Well,
for that.
here's my question for you, Mark. And let's scale this down a touch. You're going to see Oasis. You paid 800 quid a ticket. Would you rather you get there and it's Pitbull doing his greatest hits? Oh no, sorry, it's Pitbull and he's doing all of Oasis's best songs.
Yeah.
I need to be myself. I can't be no one else.
I mean, he'd be a fucking showman. Pitbull.
Actually, dare I say, it would probably be the Oasis concert would be better
If Pitbull was there.
Pitbull was performing it.
So it's Pitbull doing Oasis songs,
Yeah.
or it's Oasis doing Pitbull
Pitbull
songs.
Fireball.
I keep wanting to do bits, but I realise I don't really know any Pitbull songs. I mean, I well know them, but they're all fucking done by other people anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
he's sort of
He's like Bez for his own
like a
career.
I know
DJ
you
Khaled
want me.
or like one of those guys.
He's just like a
Timbaland.
guy that's rizzed up to his eyeballs that like people like working with.
He was really a proto Andrew Tate, wasn't he? Like, it's a bald sunglasses guy.
I told you I went out on Halloween as Pitbull once, right? I'm sure that's
Yeah, like, go on.
Yeah, I've never had so much attention in my life.
Really?
It's crazy because I've seen people. It was what is he doing like Manchester or something? And amount of people going, "Oh, I need to get these tickets." You know, I don't think
He's massive.
people.
Apparently the grannies love him as well.
Really?
Yeah, he's like a Latin Daniel O'Donnell.
If only that old guy, Monkey by the Night, was watching him instead of you.
I
he'd loved
fucking
it.
love watching Pitbull.
I'm not putting my fucking hearing aids up for this.
Pitbull,
when you put Pitbull on, son.
Pitbull doing all your bits.
I think it's like, I think it works. The thing about Pitbull is like, cause he's like a bald guy with sunglasses and his name is Pitbull, he's kind of almost looks like a human Pitbull. Or if you look at that guy and you go, that guy's called Pitbull, you go, that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I think there's something just boilerplate, it's so Ron Seal about it that it's like so easy for people to understand.
Mhm.
And then he just hits it with these tunes, which separates him from your Avicii's, your David Guettas and the
Does
like, as Avicii did.
Because he sings on
Avicii's did, aye.
So I
Let's
agree.
not drag his name into this.
No.
But apparently Pitbull's a fucking legend as well. I've heard he's like a good guy.
Is it?
Does a lot
Really?
of charity, that kind of
I don't know. I don't know his political views. or
I
anything
wouldn't
like
care
that.
to.
But so
Don't ask Google AI what
I'm
Pitbull's
going to
political views are.
actually like see if he's got any controversies on his Wikipedia page. But while I'm doing that, I would like an answer, please, boys.
I'm gonna
I'm
go.
trying to really think about it.
I'm gonna go.
I think other artists covering Pitbull.
Yeah, other artists.
I also
singing
think
all
it'd be
his songs.
fascinating to hear that many different people. Like if you were a true artist, you would want to have a good output, so you'd cover as many of Pitbull's songs as you can.
He covers
Yeah.
discography.
How many albums has he
This,
got?
I'm just
Also,
looking
can you
this
read to me some of the titles of his biggest songs, please?
up. Yes. Hang on.
I know the one with Jennifer
Criticism.
Lopez.
Oh, hang on. Hang on.
No,
The
he's, not,
glasses.
Hold
are
the
coming
fort.
he's not a beast, is he? We can't
Uh-oh.
cancel
He hated
Pitbull on this
Jews.
podcast.
No, Pitbull has been criticised for the way women are depicted in some of his music.
What? It's Hot Legends in a nightclub. What's wrong with that?
For example, songs such as "She Say She Won't, but I Bet She Will." That's
That sounds dodgy. Yeah, to be
and
fair.
I like that when you fight back. Fuck, I think Pitbull might
You
be
said he
Andrew
was a
Tate
good
actually.
a lot of good work for charity, like Jimmy Savile. He did
But
a lot
these
for charity
lyrics,
as well.
these lyrics, it says, have generated discussion about whether or not they could be contributing to the. Oh God, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but imagine if
His lyrics are routinely labelled as sexist,
routinely.
and Combat similarly noted that many view Pitbull as sexist.
Type in philanthropy.
Which I would, I would argue, and that's a good argument for. He covers every other song, and his discography is put to the dustbin of history because he's he wouldn't have
Yeah.
nobody's got a problem with him if he's singing other songs, but when he's saying all these lyrics that he's wrote,
You don't want Madonna covering his songs talking about how women are wanting it.
Would that be empowering?
Would that be
yeah,
empowering?
I think they could reclaim it.
Put Pitbull in jail, and everybody else sings his songs. He's got like loads of albums from 2004. He's got. I don't recognize any of them. He's got one called Global Warming.
What?
And then the next one's called Globalization. Climate Change 2017. He's really obsessed with like.
Well, he's Mr. Worldwide, and the worldwide's burning.
Right enough. Pitbull starring the Revolution. I don't know what that is.
It's an Irish, like a.
The first one is just called Miami with like a dot in between each letter.
That's cool.
What do
And-
you think that stands for?
That's very
Probably does
clever.
stand for something actually. Oh, do you want it? Miami stands for money is a major issue. Which is true. I mean, you can't deny that.
Show me the lie.
So is global warming, and that's what he's doing.
He actually speaks about a lot of the big issues.
Well, actually, I mean, he's
Similar to Bob Dylan.
well, the most famous Pitbull quote, and I think people will probably be like shouting at their devices at the moment for us to mention this, but he has, of course, got the famous line, I don't call it politics, I call it politricks.
Oh, does it? I
And
don't
that's-
know.
Have you
about
not seen his motivational speaking and everything?
that. No.
Is he a motivational speaker as well?
No, but you'll be able to find like a minute compilation of him. He loves spitting out things like it just complete nonsense. Like it's like the Jin Hao joke of like, I don't see impossible, I see impossible.
Yeah.
He's got loads of things like that where it's like a little tiny, like a Shakespeare.
See, I'm possible.
switcheroo.
Yeah. The old switch.
He loves like a really surface level switcheroo.
Politics is a different business. That's why I call it politics. Politics and politician. I call it politics. I think it's a lot of bullshit. All we can do is create awareness. Politics are gonna be politics, and while they figure out what it is, politics and politics. That's why I call this shit politics.
I mean, show me the lie.
Show me the lie.
Show me the lie.
Show me the money. Fair play to him.
I wish that if it's not the music
Every
thing,
policy is by Pitbull.
I would just like that every celebrity at some point has to say that phrase. I don't call it politics, I call it politricks.
I wonder if he like had an epiphany moment when he came up with that, or did they just hear someone say it and everyone, that's fucking genius.
Well,
I'm gonna
genius
use that."
is inspired. People say, where do you get your ideas from? And who knows? It could have come from the superconscious mind.
Yeah.
That amazing insight.
Politricks.
Politricks.
What do you
Hang on
think
a
he means by
second.
that, Steve?
I think he means that politics,
Mm-hmm.
kind of politicians are
Mhm.
tricking us.
Oh,
Well,
I think.
is that what he means?
I think it means that politicians are tricking us.
Mm.
well, no one
You want to keep an eye on that, buddy?
Jesus
No one
Christ.
more than Mr. Worldwide would know that the world's a fucked up place.
Yes.
It
He's
is
been to every corner of this fucked up world.
every
He's got a
corner
tale
of
and a
this,
song to sing about
this
himself.
flat earth. And let me tell you,
Right. So are we on the fence? Pitbull songs or Pitbull singing every song?
Mr. 365.
I'm choosing Pitbull's songs. We don't need to do all of them, the fucking dodgy ones.
Right.
Just do the ones about partying and having a good time.
But if
Okay.
he's got about 10
And I wanna hear what
albums,
Paul
I think those are the
McCartney
dodgy ones.
But whatever the good ones are.
yeah. I'm going that. I'm going people covering his songs because he's not a good singer, so he'd be butchering it.
I know, and it would all be in a fucking shite, like club style.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's this is like a sort of yesterday thing with the Beatles. Well, none of those songs exist. Yesterday.
They're just as popular though, but they've been singing Pitbull songs. So they still have like a druggy period in that where they do trippy Pitbull songs. And
I was thinking,
they
no,
go
they
to
were all
India
just
and-
joiners and stuff. None of them were musicians. all of these songs existed, but they're all in every single song in the known world was on one of those.
Music started in 2004 or whatever.
Yeah. It was all on the Miami album. It was
Because
like,
you wouldn't enjoy the songs if he's just doing the shit.
here's your loophole, though, right? Is that people could then cover them in a different way,
What do you mean?
and then it could be better. But the original were always Pitbull. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so that.
So hold on.
So
But they would have had. It's unlikely
So
that
the
they
Beatles
would.
Pitbull
could
doing
then
Yellow
cover-
Submarine. The Beatles do a Pitbull cover in each Yellow Submarine.
so it's just them singing it. So then that just takes away the whole
But
thing.
it would only be like a derivative of his version of it.
Wouldn't have the same heart.
So wouldn't have the same harmony and all this sort of stuff. They wouldn't have been able to because already a version of Yellow Submarine exists. It's like a Pitbull version. and like Ringo would be having Mr. Worldwide.
But then that means that their version of it could just be their derivative version of it could just be
You know,
their
it's like
original
a
version,
Johnny Cash Hart situation.
Yeah.
The cover's more.
better
Yeah.
than
It's,
the
you know, bigger
original.
than
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
So it could. So
But here's the one thing I would say against that is I do think that every single bit of music ever recorded did start in like 2000. There was just no music until Pitbull came along, and he wrote and sang every known
Every-
song.
All
So
genres.
the Beatles, two of the Beatles would be dead, so they couldn't have existed.
It's a shame that George Harrison wasn't around to hear Pitbull.
So is he? So he's coming up with Mozart symphonies and stuff.
Yeah,
as well?
that's Mozart.
He does it all. This
It's
kid.
a Pitbull original.
To be fair, if he did do that, we'd be like, "Fucking hell, he's talented." Like, it might not be for you, all of it, but fucking hell,
Jesus,
what a range of
he
styles.
wrote all music. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So
That would, and in this world, he would even write the little theme tunes
He did
that
like
came up.
he did
for,
the Jaws theme song.
for like, what's the, sc- the what's
that
the
was-
script?
he
that
did some laugh
Did the
intro.
Mighty Duck.
Yeah, that laugh intro was written by Pitbull.
Wee bit more of a bass line probably, that
Yeah.
bit. But
Billy
yeah.
Connolly songs as well. You know all those ones.
Yeah.
If it was for my wellies, where would you be? Well,
That would be a laugh, but nah, I'm sticking with other artists covering
covering
Yeah.
Pitbull.
Me
Pitbull
too.
songs. Final answer.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Lock it
See
in.
you there.
Okay, well that's 2-1, so I guess that's.
What are you going for?
I'm going to go for Pitbull covering every single. I've got Pitbull is.
Between us, we've got every element of hell covered.
Yeah, it really is a hell of high water situation here. But listen, I think that is a good way to
Yeah.
finish this week's
Let us
ep.
know in the comments what you would prefer.
We'd like to know.
course.
It's a hotly debated. I'm sure it will be. And all that is left to be said is that listen, guys, we have been 150 episodes, by the way. Not
Still a
missed a fucking
stunner.
week.
It's a
No.
150th birthday.
What would you say? A hunner, half a hunner, still a stunner.
Half a 300 and stuff, stunner.
Half a 300, still a stunner. That's pretty good. There you go.
Said that at the
If
start.
we get to 300 episodes, I think we should try and get Gerard Butler on for that 300 one.
Well, we've got a connection, don't we? We've got his number.
I would do that, actually. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we could maybe figure it out. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
But we have.
I
I hope it's a real dud of an ep as well.
Yeah, yeah. all right. No, that's not
Worse
big-
the better, as far
Yeah,
as I'm
yeah.
concerned.
But imagine getting Pitbull on. That would be the.
That would be
Oh,
sick.
yeah. That'd be good.
We could take him to task for his horrible lyrics.
That's it. We actually read a paragraph on your Wikipedia that said that. But listen, all that matters is that you guys have been with us for the last 150 weeks.
Yes, thank you very much.
Not missed a
Yes.
week, and we'll try our best. We'll endeavour to never miss a week. As far
Never,
as we've
ever.
done.
There you go. It's a
And,
verbal contract now.
There you go. It's been
Yep.
said, but we have
Me
to.
and Steve didn't agree to it.
No,
No,
not at all.
Well, you know.
Last
well,
ever ep.
Coming up for 3 years, that's crazy.
Yep, that's good going, I think. But I think we
No
re-up.
shite, no shite.
No shite. All been good for the most part.
I'm not saying there's not been shite. I'm just saying
It's
there's
no shite. That's a Fife thing to say, isn't it?
Ooh.
I think so.
Nice shout.
Aye.
So
Let's
be
get
it.
it. That's
So
another
be
take.
it.
It's no bother. Anyway, listen, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, for sticking with us. Come hell or high water,
We'll be there
we'll be there.
to talk pish.
Yes. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys, and we'll speak to you all very soon.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys. Thank you.